This documentary is about the role of contemporary media in shaping the male image. We will look at how this image is shaped through adverts in the print and TV media.
Mass media. Probably the most difficult thing to actually define.
We want products that speak to homosexuals, not male or either female.
Supplements, by virtue of their name, are simply additives that are used to supplement one's diet.
Is that good? Okay, most adverts lower my self-esteem because you always see those girls who's skinny and stuff, and you get me like I'm plus size. Obviously, you're gonna want to be like that because that's what society requires. I've never been influenced into buying a product because you know how they test some products on animals. I feel like that's not conservative or that. And you know they're gonna obviously in order for your product to sell, you're gonna portray something not different, but something in order for the person to be attracted.
The idea of the masculine ego is arguably shaped by the media. The media disseminates messages to males on how they ought to look. To understand what the term mass media means, we visited a lecturer at the Walter Sisulu University Media Department. Ma'am, what is mass media?
Mass media. Probably the most difficult thing to actually define. The definition that academics lean towards would be inclusive of the word technology. I already have a problem with that. There is singing, there's dancing, especially our indigenous dancing, which is traveling today all over the world. Mm-hmm. People don't even understand the language. The messages are all sent via physically through the dancing. They understand the message. They're sending it to a mass audience. Mm-hmm. So it is difficult to define mass media.
Right. And which role does it play in influencing the audience, the hidden codes and conventions?
Well, it's all into language or into movements, images. But when you say, what are you saying particularly about how does it influence? It's more than just codes and conventions. It does include technology. And if you say it influences, what specifically? If you're talking politics, it's one thing. If you're talking people, it's another thing. So maybe you need to clarify a bit.
What are the influences when it comes down to advertisements, your print and your TV?
The influence of the media, it's profound. They are able to set trends. They are able to convince us of things. They are able to just stop us from believing what we know is the real world or the reality, but at the same time, just for that few minutes there, we actually believe whatever they're telling us there. So that is the influence of the media.
No, you're free to add. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Perhaps the influence of the adverts, particularly on the male image, or in creating the male image.
Now that one is, I feel quite strongly about. The male image that is sending out today, we have male images of men that are goofy and idiots and also metrosexual and in touch with their feminine side, and the advertisers tend to make us believe that there are these perfect people, but you sit and watch those and you look at the guy next to you and he's nothing like that. So it doesn't represent reality. But at the same time, and also again, it's again in the language, the advertisers have a few minutes to send their message across. So they only have minutes to put together an image and words that's going to sell a whole lot of ideas to you or concepts to you. So a muscular arm that is flexing with a tattoo on, immediately you set a train of reaction off in a woman's mind, and it's all unconsciously. So they can put a lot into a simple image and words. So it's pretty powerful. But at the end of the day, we look at all those images, but what is sitting next to you is most important, as long as they're real. Right.
Next, we visited the home of the Border Bulldogs in East London to talk to one of the players, Onke Tubase, on how advertising has affected him.
Hi, can you please state what you do for a living?
For a living, I play rugby and I study at the University of Fort Hare in Alice, and I play rugby for the Border Bulldogs.
Oh, so when did you start playing rugby?
I started playing rugby when I was 11 years old in Conby Primary School.
And when did you start playing for the Border Bulldogs?
I started playing for the Border Bulldogs in 2009.
2009.
I was mainly involved in the squad at that time, and I was still young, playing for the under-19s and under-21s. And then I got promoted to the first team, as my debut in 2011.
Oh, and with rugby comes pressure to look perfect. So do you feel pressured to always have that perfect body? And
yeah.
how much pressure is there?
There's a lot of pressure. Well, there's a lot of pressure when it comes to my rugby, and obviously staying healthy. You obviously have to stay strong and stay healthy, so we quite gym a lot. It's mainly every day, especially off-season and pre-season. You mainly every day when you wake up, round about from 8 o'clock to 9:30, I'd say.
Oh, okay. And having to look perfect, you do feel the pressure to impress other people? Do you feel pressure to impress the ladies, or to mostly make other guys look small?
That's not really my focus. My focus obviously is to stay strong for rugby and to stay in shape for rugby and for health purposes, but it comes in with a bonus, obviously, I'd say.
Okay, and have there been any adverts that made you feel like you want to achieve that perfect body?
There's a lot of adverts that influence you, even other things apart from the advert. You get USN adverts and then you get SSN advert. Those are the supplements that you must take in order to stay in shape. So that goes, well, you have to take them in order for a person to stay in shape.
Well, it doesn't really affect me because I'm actually quite confident in my body. So when I see a sexy guy on camera and everything, I just don't feel like there's that thing that, oh my gosh, like I need to do something about my body because I like the way my body is. And yes, I do buy a lot of products because of the guy's body and everything, because obviously it's sexy and you feel like you wish you had a piece of that. But yeah, I do buy my products because of the body.
Adverts ekubakho like a guy that's bulk, I felt intimidated to check because that nigga is standing there and he's all buffed up and I'm a skinny guy at home. Yeah, by intimidated in a way, but I get more motivated. Now I should go, you check, I should go DH mean enough so that I can be like him. Well, ikona i-ad yakhe yavela eTVini. Actually, it's layer X about why you spray and then the chicks come. And I was like, okay, now I want to get that egg so that I can spray this and then different kind of girls can come to me. Well, Nandi husband, as okay, they're trying to show us, but okay, if you buy this, then more chicks are going to come to you. And I'm a guy, guys are into females. Okay, I should get myself eggs. Actually, I bought the eggs, and luckily there was a girl that came to me and was like, "Oh, I like your perfume." Like, oh, it's not perfume. Yeah.
We visited a biokineticist who specializes in the final rehabilitation stages of the body from various forms of injury.
Could you please tell us what a biokineticist do?
A biokineticist is a senior degree offered at university, and their predominant job would be to do with final phase rehabilitation. A physiotherapist will diagnose and treat acutely. The biokineticist will then take over and then treat the latter stages of treatment, so the final phase of rehabilitation. And that's predominantly what the biokineticist does.
Okay. And could you please tell us about how maintenance and enhancement of physical abilities and performance is done?
Through the eyes of a biokineticist, our predominant module that we use in treatment, whether that be initial or final phase, is exercise. And according to the American College of Sports Medicine, that needs to be done most days of the week, so no less than 4 days in the week, and for a minimum of about 30 minutes at a time. And that is the model that they use for maintenance of physical activity. However, if you're looking for other important strategic goals, that may have to be increased as the biokineticist sees fit.
Okay. And what is the effect of supplement use on the muscle? Because most sportsmen use supplements to bulk up.
Okay. Supplements, by virtue of their name, are simply additives that are used to supplement one's diet. We have microsupplements, which form part of our vitamins and minerals, and we have macrosupplements, which form part of our food, our protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Okay? And because sportsmen are subjected to vigorous training, they train for strength, for power, for speed, for endurance. That's a demanding toll on the body. And it is assumed that they don't get enough of their good nutrients. So to prevent them short-circuiting on those nutrients, they normally supplement with vitamins, minerals, protein, and carbs. Having said that, all supplements are not created equal. There are some that are not registered by the Drug Administration, and those we need to be wary of, especially in a professional sports setting. They could amount to positive tests, but those that are administered by the Drug Association are deemed safe, and hence they're on the shelf for purchase.
And is there any negative effect of prolonged supplement use on the muscle?
To date, research has proven no long-term effects. It must be noted that the reason the supplements are on the market is because they've been tested and have been found safe. So extensive research has been done on the actual product, and it has been deemed safe to use in the long term.
Oh, okay.
It is important to note that, however, certain supplements could have an effect on certain conditions. If you have an underlying kidney problem, excessive protein can exacerbate that problem, but because you have already an underlying kidney problem. But if you're apparently healthy, then certainly there should be no adverse effects if used according to prescription.
Just as the masculine body must be constantly maintained to keep in peak condition, so the masculine ego must be treated in a similar way. But some pertinent questions remain unanswered. Several attempts to find a psychologist willing to answer these questions were unsuccessful. Off the record, 4 psychologists agreed that some ethical lines were blurred when it came to the nature of these questions. It was also not a topic they'd spoken much about in their circles. They were generally hesitant about giving their opinions before checking the guidelines according to the Health Professionals Council of South Africa.
Having like a male figure on the on the adverts don't really influence me, but like if it's a good product, so like food or good clothes or something I'm interested in, it'll obviously won't necessarily be the person holding it, but it'll be the actual object, like the actual product. About my body, quite fine. Doesn't really influence me, but I could see like it could drive me to stay stronger and stay fitter. But if it's like a fat guy, I wouldn't want to end up like him. Maybe like if it's a good example or bad example, just influence me in a good way or bad way.
Next, we went to Knockout Marketing to gain more information about what goes on when products are in the marketing phase.
What is print marketing?
Okay, in defining print marketing, there's 2 components to that. There's above the line, there's below the line. Above the line would be mass media, anything that's commercial, like your billboards, your magazines, and your posters. And then below the line would be on a small scale. Stuff like your flyers, your pamphlets, or your, etc.
And what are the components that build a brand?
Okay, the components that build a brand, you need to make sure that you manage your customer relations. So we've got a system that we use to manage the customer relations, which is called Zoho. So in summary, what it does for you, it tells you that, okay, since we've got a database of 140 institutions as part of our customers, it tells you that, okay, today you should be calling so-and-so in Office of the Premier, or you should be calling Mr. Ngoy in Arts and Culture. So it gives you specific dates when you should be calling them or paying them a visit. And then we also have a calling list for our sales reps which we use as part of our database that details that all the institutions that are there. So we actually split it into the different, since we've got 5 sales reps, each sales rep has its own calling list. So they know that they have to service that specific customer. For example, if we look at Amatole is a district, so it would be serviced by a specific sales rep. And then if you look at Trisan as a district, it's serviced by a specific sales rep. So they need to be managing those relationships. And also you need to make sure that you manage brand expectations, so that if you run a campaign and you say that if a customer comes and spends 5,000 with you, that for each 5,000 you maybe give a free jacket. So you need to make sure that you actually deliver on that, and you don't neglect what you actually promise the customers. And you need to be able to respond to complaints. So you need to make sure that you've got a strong system that to be able to respond to what customer wants you to be doing, or any trends that are external. For example, we also have an events department. So if we see that there's a trend that people are hiring the line arrays instead of small monitors, then we make sure that we invest in gear like that to be able to service our customers. And also, you also need to have equal representative of your brand. Like I said, we've got sales rep. We expect them to wear uniform every day. We expect them to be properly dressed. we expect them to engage with the end user in a certain manner. So they always professional, and we accept nothing less than that. So we always make sure that we've got an internal representative when they go out to meet clients. And we also involve ourselves in like a society project. Like for example now, on Friday we've got a Connie Consulting project, which is Connie Consulting Soul City, Buffalo Park, where I think the campaign is called Adopt a Child. So we're also part of that, where we assist in whatever the community wants. We've got CIS project that we do, so that we although we're a profit-driven company, but we also want to invest in our community as well. So I think those are all the components that actually build a strong brand, besides the marketing and social media and everything. Yes.
How would you go about choosing a brand ambassador?
Okay, choosing a brand ambassador, I would choose a brand ambassador that will be relevant to that specific product. So if we're talking about sports gear or soccer, let's say soccer kit, or anything that has to do with soccer, I would choose a popular person that is well known. For example, Lionel Messi or Ronaldo. If you're talking about soccer, they would be the ideal person to represent your brand. So you need to choose a person that speaks to the product. That speaks to the product, to say so, yes.
Okay. And typically adverts are marketed at the male and female genders. Is there any marketing aimed at homosexual sector? And if not, could you please state why?
Okay, I don't think there is that's specifically directed to homosexuals. Because now if you look at any market, you'll find that there's male and female. And you will find that the big portion in any market is acquired by male or either female, and homosexual people only make a small portion of that market, and everything in terms of economy is driven by supply and demand. So you wouldn't be wanting to invest more in that small market because there's no demand on it. Yes. So in logic, it's based on demand and supply, I would say, as a sales company.
And there's no demand for homosexual.
There's no demand, as I said. There's only a small portion. I think that would only happen maybe if homosexual would be able to differentiate themselves from female and males and say that, okay, we're homosexuals, we've got a different style to males and females, and we want products that speak to homosexuals, not male or either female. So once there's a demand in that market, and once that market grows, I only think that's when
there will be a supply for it.
That's when marketing will be directed towards homosexuals.
Although it is clear that people have both positive and negative views on the media's role in shaping the masculine image, one cannot ignore the powerful role that advertising plays in influencing how males see themselves. It is important for us as media consumers to be more critical and actively involved in the way the media handles the male image in an effort to achieve a more accurate portrayal.